Hi everybody, Steve Olson. It is July 12th, 2016. Welcome to the WSO updates for the week. One of the things that we noticed earlier today, and we had a breaking kind of a news, it was more of a news slash ask for information from people to see if anybody's seen anything around the world, because the livemeteors.com detection site, which basically uses a VHF signal in the 55.24 band. And what it's really doing is that there are TV transmitters that are always transmitting in this band, and we just have a receiver on the ground. And what it's doing is it's measuring the returns in the ionosphere, which is about 105 kilometers up, 50 to 65 miles up, and it can detect these ionospheric trails of meteors in space, or not in near space. And what we had today was we had this huge, almost 2-hour echo. And then we just had, kind of repeated echoes here through the evening, but right now it's pretty quiet. It cannot be the Chinese space station, because the Chinese space station is at, right now, I think at about 250 kilometers, even at its closest point in its elliptical orbit. So we don't know what we captured today. Here's what I boiled it down to. It could be dust or debris from a cloud or something that entered from space into the atmosphere of the Earth, which gave us a return in this bandwidth. Or it was a humongous object that floated through our ionosphere and was hanging there for part of the day. Those are the only two, explanations I can come up with. But anyway, let's keep looking at it, keep thinking about it. But if anybody has seen anything that's of significance that would have, given us the answer why we saw such a huge return on the livemeteors.com, I'd really like to hear it in the comments below. Thanks. So this next thing is basically, this is an Arizona webcam, and what we're seeing around the noon time in that local area is a very strong return of visual wavelengths. So what we've got here is, this is that orb that we keep seeing repeatedly in various parts of the world, clearly lighting up when the sun comes close to it, clearly even having its own rotation. And then we see this other thing with this cluster grouping, I guess you'd say, involved there, and just a very strange return with lots of weirdness involved with it. The next thing I wanted to show you was this, kind of compelling image that we got from a gentleman that used a special filtration on the camera, and what I was mostly interested in was this little dot right here, because he showed me several pictures of it, and it didn't move, and it kind of relates to some of these other things that we've been seeing. Couple of things that I've noticed on the internet the last couple of hours. This one is from Jackie. You can read the name there. I can't pronounce the last name of it, but basically she caught on some of these webcams. Got to kind of keep a look at the dates on these things, because a lot of times you'll see older ones. But what's really interesting about this is this almost unbelievable red, image, and I'll put a link to this video next so that you can go check it out. But check out how this, in two images, you can see this intense red trail behind an object, and we wonder if it's something that they've been trying to cover up. It's only two frames, but it's very interesting kind of thing. The next thing I wanted to take you to is this Theta website, and the link will be below. But these guys in California are out there doing these balloon flights and checking out the sun and everything like we did. Only they're doing it in a much drier place and a little bit easier to, see stuff, I think. A couple things I wanted to point out in this video. The first thing I want to point out is we've got a humongous, triangular shadow on the ground. I don't know what that is. Maybe somebody can help me with triangular shadows. The other thing that we've got in this picture is we've got a lot of the same phenomenon that we've been seeing. Anything from this red dot to various shades and shadows of different planetary objects and different things, and then you can also see the drone and different things that they're using as a platform here. But it's kind of a cool site if you wanted to go see what other people are seeing up in the balloon stratosphere, kind of area. And that's it for the videos. Okay, so a couple things I wanted to show you in addition. First one is this. Now this is going to be on my editing software again, because it's a really good way to see the time-lapse photography, so I'm going to blow it up here so you can see. This is from Galena West. Again, these are those FAA webcams that you can go find at the avcamsfaa.com website. But check this out. The Galena was where we saw the activity today. And again, this thing moves around. But a couple of things to check out on this. First, I've got a little orb seemingly going around this bigger object, which is kind of unusual. But you can see what's going on there, right? All right, two more FAA cams just to kind of lay it down that we're seeing this thing in multiple cameras now. This one is, so you can see just the top of the object as the sun goes over it from the NOAA west. See that? And then this one is Hawk Inlet. Same thing, you can see this huge object illuminating behind the sun. And there's no clouds in that vicinity. Well, there are a few, but it is definitely an orb-like structure being illuminated. So you can see even some of the texture of that orb. All right, now check this out from the ISS. I just took this picture a few minutes ago, 1800 July 12, 2016, and if you can see this very clearly, the planetary object right here. The moon is behind our backs, by the way. Again, it's that multicolored orb that we've seen in the other manifestations that we saw from the ground, but it's good to see a validation from space of the object. And it appears to have some kind of an orbiting, thing going on with it as well. But we got a really good shot of it here. Really good shot of something, for sure. Check that out. Woo! Time to get it right. And then we got some kind of weird red flash, and then I tried to go to 720p.
Okay, let's wrap this one up today with a quick walkthrough for some of the more select photographs that I've been getting today, or images. This one's from Palmdale, California, and you see this manifestation that we've been seeing. It looks almost like multiple orbs in a huge circle around the sun, plus this very strange flare, which we believe is just a reverse image of what you'd see if you were behind the sun right now. And we kind of close in on this one, on this image, and you can see that it's actually more than a rainbow. It almost seems like there's a material or a cloud or something like that going on. And this particular one comes from Phoenix. See, as you look at this, you can actually start to see the round orbs. So again, I'm telling you, these are things that have not been seen before, this type of manifestation, and I just think it's important that people know about it. Now, in the area of lens flares, I've seen some odd lens flares before. I've seen some really weird ones. But the reason that this one was compelling to me was just because it was so defined in terms of what is up there, perhaps, I think. It's just something to look at. It's a lens flare, I know, right? It's a lens flare, but it's just something that I like to look at sometimes, because it could be representing, based on corroboration of other images, what we're seeing up there right now. This one comes from Norway, and Mona gives us this, and she said she's seen this very dark object move across the sky behind cloud matter 2 days in a row from Norway. We talked about this one already with Wayne the other day, but I just had to show it again. This is, an unbelievable shot again from Sharon. We're still trying to figure this orb out. Some people think that, Kaylee and I have been looking at this a lot. We think that it might be a very, very intense representation or flare of the device or devices that they're using up in there to, whatever they're doing. Who knows, right? But a lot of folks say it's some kind of a lens, some kind of camera anomaly from pointing the camera directly at the sun or something like that. I don't know if I can buy that either. Again, more ideas on what the carnival orb might be reflecting, and then of course Kaylee also catches the striped planet, I guess, striped colorful planet that we've been talking about a lot lately. Let's go through some other images. This one was used as a thumbnail, but I wanted to explain a little bit. This is just an intense, kind of it's catching a system of objects, not just one object or just one flare, which I think is an interesting perspective on it. Here's kind of corroborating evidence, from the FAA cams, and you can see that we're getting that same kind of, manifestation. So, could all of this stuff is just pointing towards the, the closeness of the hour and where we stand right now. And here's one from the ISS where it shows, clearly we're starting to see the horizon of potentially of another large body. And we know we're running out of time, everybody. And we are setting up some really ambitious projects at WSO in case what we're seeing, in case what we're, theorizing is true. And we guess that there's not going to be a lot of help for common folk like you and me. So we're going to try to band together our resources, and we're going to try to do our best. If this thing turns into some kind of global calamity, or if there is some kind of a catastrophe, that we can have a loving group of people that will have each other's backs, that will communicate with each other, that will share food and resources, and share community and love and those kinds of things. That's what we would do in that situation, and that's what WSO promotes.